Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Futures Morning Leap session for Friday, October the 19th, 2018. Today is OPEX. It is the monthly option close. It's not quad witching, but it is an OPEX Friday, so just be aware of that. My name is Doug McKay. I'm founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we get together in these live go-to sessions to take a look at the market, macro to micro, take a look at the structure of the market, and then we drill down to our trade levels, our targets, and our hypotheses. We do create multiple hypotheses. We do not know what the market's going to do. Therefore, we have multiple plans in place. Then we wait for the market to open up, see who takes control, and then execute the plan that best suits the market. This is a subscription room. If you're interested in checking it out, send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. There's no website. There's no blog. This is not a commercial venture. We do everything live here in the go-to, and then we do live trading and analysis during the course of the trading day. Please read through the disclaimer. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results in the trades that you see in Quantum Leap. For education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. So looking at yesterday, our Hypo 1 was an open auction with wide opening range and a push up into the 15 area to the 19, and then find sellers and rotate us down towards that 92 level, and then push through down into the 85, 86 level, and then find a base and start working our way back up. We actually got Hypo 4, and Hypo 4 was a failure to take out the 19s or get a false breakout, but sellers stepping in early and rotating us down, breaking below the 2800, and then pushing down into the 71, maybe down to the 65 area. We actually got a little bit lower. We got down into the 5650. A nice foobar, Mr. Sneaky, and then we start this grind, and there's a weird grind because we kept on getting these strong impulse moves up, and then seeing Mr. Sneakies, and then getting counter rotations of large size as well, and then we just sort of went sideways into the close, creating a distribution with some kurtosis around the 71. And if you look at the, where'd my charts go? I've been having so much problems with my charts. I'm going to have to pause this video for a minute. Sorry about that. Just having problems with clicking on my IRT. I got problems with it bringing up stuff and crashing on me. So if you look at the breakdown day, and I started a new profile on the breakdown day, we came down, then we had 3 days of balance, and the microcomposite VPOC for those 3 days was 68.50. Then we get this strong push up on the 16th. Trade inside of that day with one tick break above, but we have a VPOC up here at the 1275.13 area, and then we gap down, and we come right down, and we come back into this balance, and we've created a strong area of price acceptance here at 71. 71 will need to hold now, otherwise we're likely to see a further push down and probably back into that 2750 area, if not below that. But that's getting ahead of ourselves. Let's just take a look at the economic calendar. We had core CPI and retail sales, and for the most part, it was a bit of a miss in Canada. In 7 minutes, we've got Kaplan speaking from the Fed, and then the big one for us today will be 10 o'clock existing homes. But don't forget, we also got Bank of England, Carney speaking, and that is at 11:30, and that could cause the market to move with all of the Brexit talks. etc. At noon, we've got Bostic speaking, and then we've got the Baker Hughes at 1 o'clock rig count. And that's about it for anything that's really going to move. We've got the CFTC, which comes out late Friday afternoon, but it's not usually a mover. But remember that today is going to be options expiration. With the volatility that we're seeing right now, we're likely to see some really quick moves again today. So just be very, very cautious with your risk today. So each day I like to start and I like to use a simple candlestick chart. Use those that are watch these videos know that I start on the monthly and I start working my way down. I use a 9 EMA, 20 SMA. What I'm doing is I'm looking to see where we are in terms of the periodicity, in terms of are we in a trend? Is it strong with good slope and separation, price paralleling the 9? Or is the trend being challenged with the loss of slope and separation and a challenge to the 9 EMA, or are we getting a possible trend change with a break below the 9 and the 20 or above, depending on which way the trend is. But the trend is very much intact on the monthly. We did challenge it with a move below the 9 EMA, but we're currently right now sitting on top of it right now and holding the trend. On the weekly, you can see that we have broken below the 9 and the 20, so we do have a possible trend change. We do not have the MA cross yet. A move back up to test the 9 and the 20 right now would take us up into the 28.38 area on the weekly. So we do have a possible trend change on the weekly. On the daily, you can see that we're getting slope and separation, and price is failing to get back above the 9 EMA. So the trend is still intact that we started on the breakdown day. We closed the technical gap after the FUBAR Mr. Sneaky, and now we're starting to walk down, on this trend. If we get above the 28.05, I'm actually using 28.09 area, then we've got a possible move back up to test the 20 SMA and a move back up towards the 28.50 area. Going to the intraday, you can see that we were starting to go into a downward trend, and then we got back above the 9 EMA, and then we failed again. And now we don't have slope and separation. We've got price moving sideways in a possible flag formation, but we're holding below the 9 and the 20, and the 9 is below the 20. We do have a naked cross at 27.9150. So if we get above the 9 EMA, the 91.50, which also happens to be that week high, is going to be the target as a naked cross on the 4 hour. Going to the 30-minute, you can see that we basically moved sideways for most of the Globex. Once we got down into the European session, they basically just went sideways. Sorry, not down into the European session, into the Globex. We basically just went sideways. Now, sideways right now in this volatility, that equates to 15.5 points, which is very large in the Globex. The Globex inventory is, I would say, about 80 to 90% net long in time and value, although you can see that we have a very blunt profile. There's no clear double distribution. This is just a big flat area of price discovery where they're just chopping back and forth with no real price acceptance. We did just get a VPOC shift up. It was down in the 27.7350 area. It did shift up into the 82, and we still have a possible, this is a VWAP to VPOC trade. So talking about this setup, price, VPOC was down here, price moves up through the VWAP, then we create new balance. The VPOC shifts from the other side of the VWAP back above. Then we come down, and the first touch of the VWAP is the trade setup to take it back to the new balance that was just created. And basically, we just completed that trade just now. So that's a very classic example of a VWAP to VPOC trade with the migration of price and then the migration of the value or the VPOC through the VWAP, and then the retest of the VWAP. So inventory is pretty much net long. We do still have a zipper measured move. There's your impulse wave of 8.25 points. There's our zipper pattern for the 4-tick Renko, and the target is 88.25, and this remains valid until we get below the 75.50. Now, we now have, and we've been seeing a lot of this because of the volatility and the size of the rotations, we've got an opposing zipper measured move. So I'm going to measure this right here. Impulse down to the zipper. And again, I'm getting these pop-up windows. And this would take us down to the 76. This would actually not even violate the zipper measured move to the upside. So giving us an early indication, excuse me, giving us an early indication that we're going to see some wide opening swings coming into the RTH session. So going back to the structure, again, we do have a price acceptance at the 71. If we hold above the 71, this is going to be considered accepting value, and most likely a rotation back up towards where they tried to hold the value up here, up at the 28.13 area. But you can see that there's a lot of development that could be done in between these two VPOCs. So we could see a lot of rotations in this area and a sideways OPEX day with this type of range. I mean, we've got range capabilities here between the 13 and the 70 of around 40, 50 points. So this could easily go sideways. Areas to pay attention to, the 84, 85 area. If we get above that, then I'm looking for that move up into the 91.25, 91.50. That's that week high. That's also the naked cross on the daily, or is it on the weekly? It's on one of those two, but there is a naked cross there with a week high where we put in basically almost a triple top up there. Below 75, I think we get a quick move down into the microcomposite VPOC of 71, and then our key line in the sand still is all the way down here at 27.50. So any move down, even below the 71, down to the 27.50, is not going to be surprising, because it's just a trip through this distribution zone between the 84.75 and the 27.50. Above 28.02, then I'm targeting that 13.14 area and the continuation back up into the mid 2800s and back towards this 28.44, which was an area of balance on the way up. And it's a major area of balance as well. You could see that we had former microcomposite VPOC, then we created another one just on top of it, and pretty thin all the way up there from the 20 area all the way up. So we could move quite quickly through there. So in terms of levels, our overnight high, 86.50. Overnight low is 71, sitting right on the VPOC. Come on. Also to note is our week open is 27.70. So we have one session left. We're inside of critical mass still. our weekly critical mass down is down here at 27.31. If we get below there today, you do not want to try to fade that because you could see the buyers capitulate and the sellers take us all the way back down into the 27.50, the longer time frame micro composite, and possibly down into the month low down at the 27.12s. Our critical mass to the upside is up at the, you can't see it because it's sitting behind here, but our weekly critical mass to the upside is the 09.25 area. That's why I was saying I was watching that 09 area for a breakout and possible critical mass where the sellers capitulate and the buyers drift up into that 28.30, the 50% of the significant breakout candle. And our daily ATR is running at 39.04, so off of the overnight low. Our daily upside ATR target is up here at the 28.10 area, and our downside daily ATR target is down at 27.47.25. So what does that mean to us? It means that we have range capabilities to test the 50s or test up into the 29.10 area without expanding our 20 period average range right now, which is running pretty large. So in terms of hypotheses, I have to go with the fact that we did violate the one-time framing down, and that we're creating balance, and we're above the prior, the accepted value of the 71. So my bias is still to the upside, but I also am going to have equally weighted, and I know it's been like this for a bit, but Hypo 1 and Hypo 2 are going to be 50-50 for me, because we're either going to move back down towards the 71s and break through for another run down to the 27.48 area, or we're going to accept this value and move up into the 2800s again and up towards the 50% of the significant breakout candle up at 28.30. So Hypo 1, open auction, in range, in value, a move down towards the overnight low and the 71, and somewhere between the 71 and the 66 area, I'm looking for buyers to step in and start rotating us up through the LVN and the overnight high. This is our over-under line here at 87.50 and pushing up into, and I'm targeting the 27.97.25. That's where the VPOC was before it shifted down near the close, and basically grinding up towards the 28.10 area. That is Hypo 1. And 2800, remember, is a century number. It's also a major strike price for options. So you could probably see a move to the 2800 at one point in time. And I'm having that as my target area up for Hypo 1. Hypo 2 is a open auction in range, a push up into the 97 to 2800, and then sellers stepping in, rotating us down through the LVN and pushing through down to the 2770 area with a late day probe down into the 56 to 50 area, basing here and closing back somewhere in around the 71 area. That is Hypo 2. Hypo 3, because of the weakness that we saw yesterday, is going to be a breakdown day. Excuse me. Open test drive, failure to hold above the 27.90.50, and sellers step in early, rotate us down to the 70 area, push through, chop between the 70 and the 56, and then fail and push down through the 50 and come down into this 27.31 to 27.50, and then we'll wait to see if critical mass kicks into the downside and a possible big day down into the month low of the 12.25. Hypo 4 is a open auction in range. failure to take out the naked VPOC, buyers step in early, rotate us up into the 2800, fight the 2800, and then break above the 2808 and push us up into the 2830, and then closing somewhere up here in the 2820 to 2815 area. That is hypo 4. There is a fifth alternative because of the size of the range, and that is a sideways day with wide rotations, but being contained between the 2800 and the 2856, and basically chopping inside is another inside day. Those are my hypotheses for the ES. Quick look at gold. Gold has created a new distribution zone. Balance is at the 1230 area. We are banging against this prior microcomposite VPOC. I'm expecting us, if we can get above it, to push up into the 1240 area, and anything above 1240, I'm bringing 1250 into the play today, especially if we have a hypo 3 in the indices where the markets really move down. If we do not hold the 30 area, look for them to come down and test the value area low here in the 1225 to 1223 area and base and come back up and have an inside day. If we do rally in the indices and we get hypo 4 kicking in, then I wouldn't be surprised to come down and test the 1217.20 on gold today. But really, I'm thinking for chop in the early session and then a push up and a break above the 1234 and a push up into the 1240. Whether we get above the 1240 today is going to be the question. But basically, I think we're going to have rotations with upside bias as we have this flag formation. We are breaking out of this flag formation right now. It's just a small break, but we are breaking to the upside with higher price acceptance in the 1230. That's going to complete our pre-market session. Sorry for the length. Sorry for the delay in having to pause, but that's going to complete our pre-market session. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.